What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is another Nootropics 20. Thanks so much for being with me. Remember, every shred of information we put on this channel is brought to you by some really cool nootropic products. Number one, we have a nootropic stack. It is called Cortex, and it's a powerful stack. Verbal fluency, motivation, mental energy. Right now, guys, I just wanted to officially announce this on air. We're going to send an email out either later tonight or tomorrow. Cortex is buy one, get one free for just a short period of time. We're probably going to run it for like a week or so. So if you want Cortex at buy one, get one free, use the coupon code GET1, G-E-T space O-N-E. Add however many bottles you're going to buy to your cart. Enter the coupon code. You'll still check out with however many bottles you're buying. You're not going to see the free bottles on your invoice, but if you use the coupon code and it says applied successfully, it registers on our end to ship you free bottles per what you buy. Coupon code GET1. If you need my help on formulating stacks, get the consulting service. Look, we help people figure out nootropics. If you are looking to take your nootropics usage to the master class, the higher echelon level, people that are 5 to 10 years in, they just do things different. They get better results. They get consistent results. They induce states on cue. We teach you how to do that in the nootropics master class. And if you're a man that needs to raise testosterone, just get the Viking testosterone protocol. Do not go on TRT as of yet. Give it a chance. If you do the right things, you can raise your test pretty measurably. All right. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different stuff here. This is the Nootropics 20, wherein we discuss nootropics and biohacking and sort of general health stuff. For 20 straight minutes, I have a counter looking on my phone here to make sure that we cover an entire 20 minutes. And so let's get right into the questions. By the way, thanks for those of you that commented on the live streams recently. It's been awesome. We're going to do some more soon. And thanks for your positive feedback on Lucas, the podcast we did with the guy from BrainX. That was cool. We'll have Lucas on more. First question, primary response from Uniforam. I've been thinking about experimenting with it. I've heard some good and bad results. Kind of want your take. This was an email that came through. Well, Uniforam is something you take in low doses, pretty much cholinergic, but it's also wakefulness promoting in my opinion. And so, though I think words that like I would otherwise have a hard time bringing to the tip of my tongue and saying are better, so I'm more verbally fluent and kind of my brain works better in language processing capacity. Uniforam, when I take it, which is pretty sparingly, also makes me feel really awake. 10 milligrams or so of Uniforam, I just feel awake. Like my brain feels like, I don't know, just like that feeling when you sleep a lot and your brain has extra reservoirs of energy when you slept a lot. That's what Uniforam gives me personally. Ryan, how many days a month do you take nootropics? Well, so I guess there's different times throughout, the course of the last 12 years where I've taken nootropics differently. In the very beginning, when I was, between years 0 and 3.5 or 4 years, I was taking them pretty much every day. I want to say 5-6 days a week. I might have cycled off a day, and that's eventually when I ran into problems and developed a methodology to take nootropics over a longer period of time, which is the basis of some of the strategy we talk about in content. So these days it might be 13, 14, 15 days a month. Yeah, basically half of the month. And that's like 4 days on during the week and then 3 days off. That's kind of my strategy. I mean, there might be times during the weekend where I got a lot of work to do and might dose a particular nootropic, but otherwise, yeah, basically half of the month is where I'm taking nootropics. This is a great question. Shift work firefighter, stacks and strategy. Well, if you are a firefighter and you have shift work, it means that you're there kind of on call at the fire station for a considerable period of time, sometimes 48 hours, and you got to kind of stay up for that time. I imagine some firefighters probably like take naps during that time. I guess my suggestion for that is, I don't know how it works and if you can rotate naps, because you should be able to do that. I mean, I spent just about 18 hours or so from 1 in the morning. Bradley dropped us off in Iraq in an abandoned building in Baghdad where we were overwatching Route No Name, it was called, right by Hababiyah in Iraq, for people placing IEDs for soldiers, for us. And, we were to take action if we saw them. And we're in the middle of the most dangerous part of the world. there was 12 of us. We had some Bradley Fighting Eagles that were nearby, and we were about three miles or so away from a fob. So I mean, we had support, but that's a scary situation to be in. And even then, we slept. So we would do shifts. Like I'd go to sleep for 3 hours, and most of the rest of us would go to sleep, and then there'd be 5 people pulling security around the building and then watching the IED site. So that's one thing. Nootropic wise, I would say, look, man, I mean, to get through that time, probably modafinil is what I would be doing if I was a firefighter. I'd be dosing modafinil kind of, in the beginning part of the 24-hour period, because that's going to help you stay awake. Just no question about that. I guess dealing with then being able to sleep thereafter, like kind of when you get back and your shift is over. I mean, I know people have lives, and this is what makes this hard, but I would just try to sleep as much as possible, and then kind of take naps. And you're going to be dealing with staying up for a while, stressing your body, and then a recovery period thereafter. I know that sucks, but just try to sleep as much as you can during that recovery period. Treat your body right, eat really well, don't drink a lot. De-stress with ashwagandha and rhodiola. That's kind of what I would say about that. Why do nootropics make me less tolerant of people? That's something that comes up all the time. Basically, and it happens the same thing for me. It always has in my tenure of taking nootropics. It's because your brain is working faster than them, and you get annoyed with how slow their brain's working. The hallmark example for me is just being at the grocery store or Target or something. I mean, I just like, if I'm taking a stack or something, my brain's working, faster than other people's. Like, I go in there, I either have a list or a list in my head, and I know what I want, and I just like beeline to wherever it is and get it and get the hell out of there. And most people are not like that. So they're sort of just moving slow, and that kind of makes people upset. But also to a degree, depending on the nootropic, you're releasing fight or flight neurotransmitters. So in doing so, you're going to be a little irritable. It's just when you take nootropics to get the right stack for you for productivity, your brain is highly focused on getting stuff done and getting work done. So the state you need to be in to be tolerant of people is certainly not that state. It's like you take nootropics for productivity. If you want to be tolerant of people, take ashwagandha or rhodiola and lower your stress or faster racetam or something. So that's why. I mean, you're on one hand you're releasing fight or flight, on the other your brain's just hyper focused and you're moving quick. But it happens to the best of us. Armodafinil side effects at 200 milligrams. Guy basically was experiencing lethargy, tiredness, a lack of motivation, a little bit of skin rashes. That's histamine from armodafinil. He had been taking modafinil at 200 milligrams prior to that and didn't have any issues. Doc switched him to armodafinil for whatever reason. Doctors do that. And so the problem with that is that the armodafinil is so much more potent on the onset, and it's so much more available biologically, that 200 milligrams is a substantially high dose. Like, that would be comparable to 400 milligrams of modafinil or something, which is crazy and definitely won't do side effects. So the answer to that is take that down to 30 to 100 milligrams of the armodafinil. If that doesn't fix the issue, cycle off for 2 weeks and then bring modafinil in at 200 milligrams and keep it there. I don't see a huge need. Somebody asked me this yesterday on a call for armodafinil or any of the other afinils versus modafinil. I think you just stick with tried and true. That's how I think about it after 12 years. Ryan, what is your post-workout meal? Is this important? Yes, I do think that a post-workout meal is important. I don't eat when I go to the gym, so I go fasted, and that's not because I'm trying to be like this intermittent fasting guy. I intermittent fast not thinking about it. It's not something in my radar like, oh, this is cool, I do it. It's just what my body wants to do. But absolutely, post-workout meal is critical. Look, if you don't want to tax yourself, jack your cortisol up, which is going to lower your test if you're a guy, and then eventually burn out your hormonal function, like tests, like thyroid function and like adrenal hormones, then you got to eat post-workout if you're not eating before the workout. My post-workout meal is always something with carbs, fat, protein. I don't skimp on anything anymore. I did, and obviously you guys know that, and I ran into a lot of health problems because of that, doing it too extreme. And yeah, I eat carbs, fat, protein. Lately it's just been like a big thing of spaghetti with a big chunk of butter on it, some salt on it, right? garlic, and then a protein source, and that's 2 hard-boiled eggs with some salt on it usually, or just a small piece of beef, and I just kind of get everything that I need. I'm kind of covering all bases by doing that. So yeah, post-workout meal critically important for folks, especially if you want to control cortisol and you want to keep your hormones in check. How to work out for testosterone. This is actually somewhat related and cool. Lots to talk about there, but I'll try to make it as quick as I can. Look, heavy compound lifting demonstrates that you do have small marginal raises in testosterone. So I think that's it. But how to work out, right? You have to work out at a pace and intensity that allows you to get those benefits, but does not take you overboard into high cortisol, which is going to lower test. So you sort of have to work out intensely, but do it also moderately. If your workouts if you just cannot help yourself but to go and kill it at the gym and lift and deadlift and all that stuff, heavy compound lifting, then I would say do it max 3 days a week, and then take 4 days to recover. Make sure you're eating adequate amounts of protein in the ensuing time thereafter, so that you can rebuild all the muscles you just tore. That's what I would say about that. But also, I think there's something to say for, depending on the state of your body, like you individually, there's a type of workout and intensity workout that's better for you. I was a runner for just about 12 years, starting right before the Army to train for the Army, and then being in the Army, we just ran a lot after I continued it. And honestly, yeah, it kept me in amazing physical shape, but it wreaked havoc on my hormones, particularly in raising cortisol. It made me have to eat more because I'd go out and burn 700 calories in a 10-mile run or whatever, and then I just compensate for it by eating more, and sometimes that messed with my gut and my weight loss kind of initiatives. And so that point is, that wasn't the best. That's not the best workout for me. It's just not. At this point, machines like working on chest and arms and stuff is really machines, and then the rest of it I do high intensity interval training, striking a bag, and sparring with folks in rare occasions. So yeah, finding out the workout that's best for you. Everybody has one. Don't go too intense. Go just intense enough. Kind of like Tim Ferriss's minimum effective dose strategy. It really does work. Do I really need a capsule maker and a scale to take nootropics? No, you don't. I mean, I think if you're trying to get, the best way for people to get great results with nootropics is to be very specific on doses, and then to adjust doses on compounds in a stack to make them perfect for your brain right now, right? It's so specific. It's not like, oh, I'll just drink a cup of coffee and I'm good. It's different. So the best way to do that is to weigh everything out. Either way, you should be weighing everything out. But the question about a capsule maker and capsuling stuff, not necessarily. You could just as easily weigh everything out and put it in coffee or a smoothie, and that'd be pretty much the same. A little more bioavailable probably. There could be a degree of chemical that gets destroyed by stomach acid because you don't have a capsule around it. And so that might lower the effects a little bit. I mean, it's kind of theoretical, but just looking at how the stomach works, probably somewhat true. And then also you could just be taking doses of nootropics sublingually, and that's fine. Too, it'll probably onset quicker and have a little more potent of an effect, but it's really not that different, all things considered. So I think, yes, you need a scale for specificity, and no, you don't necessarily need a capsule maker. You can throw the stuff down in a smoothie or take it sublingual, and you'll be just fine. Is BrainX going to be in the States? So yeah, maybe we didn't specify that enough. Because BrainX is coming out of Australia, that's the nootropic that Lucas from Ergogenic Health is launching, and from BrainX. And it's launching out of Australia, and I think it's going to be useful for folks that are on that side of the world to get cheaper shipping. But no, it's going to be available in the States too. I think they're even trying to manufacture it in the States. So the answer is yes. My take on the future of nootropics evolution. I don't quite know what that's referring to, but if it's referring to like administration methods, I am somewhat working with a company. I don't know if I'm actually going to end up working with them like in a financial capacity or partnership capacity, but I've been advising and kind of working with a company that's trying to make dissolvable nootropic strips, that you just put under your tongue like a freaking like a mint joint, and it just dissolves. And it has a particular dose of chemical nootropics in there, and you're essentially dosing them sublingually. and it's just a strip. Now, it's very hard for this company to do this, because think about it, right? You know, if even a very minimal stack, but that's highly effective, like the Cortex stack, you're talking about 660 milligrams of material or something total in a dose. How are you going to fit that in a strip? You know what I mean? So it's like they're sort of limited on what nootropics they can use in those strips, because you sort of gotta be putting in super potent bioavailable stuff in there, like triacetyleuridine or something. Obviously, no one can legally make a nootropic that has any of the aphenols in it. You'd be looking at, if they can get away with it, like Noopept, and can't really do Primorastam because that's caustic, meaning it will burn. Don't ever subliminally dose Primorastam. So yeah, you'd be looking at things like triacetyleuridine, some other compounds you can dose low and they're highly effective and you can fit in a strip. But that's where I see the evolution of nootropics going, to stuff like that. I also want to say that, I know that people generally still want to just take capsules, just want to take pills, like 2 pills. It's one of the easiest dose administration methods there is, and I think that people like doing that, and it's kind of here to stay, like take a pill, get brain performance kind of thing. Stack for blogging? Good question. 300 or 400 milligrams of Alcar, like 100 milligrams of theacrine is a great stack for blogging. You just want to have mental energy in the mix, and that'll work. You don't necessarily need anything very potently cholinergic like any of the racetams. Alcar is somewhat cholinergic, so that'll help. But yeah, I mean, that's the stack that works for me in blogging. We don't blog a whole lot. We're just doing podcasts and these videos and stuff. But back in the day, early in Cortex Labs history, when I was doing a lot of like a long form blogging, and you can find some of that stuff still on livecortex.com/blog, I was taking a stack like that to get my brain revved up for it. Next question. Ashwagandha is the only thing that makes me happy, but then I'm unproductive. Okay, I totally know the feeling and that experience there. And yeah, I mean, it slows things down enough, and yeah, it makes you respond better to stress. You're unproductive because essentially part of what makes you productive is stress. Being unsatisfied with where you're at, and then wanting, and that little bit of stress kind of wanting you to move. It's like EU stress, good stress, to make you do that. But yeah, I mean, I've been in situations like that before. When I was dosing ashwagandha liquid, and just like swishing it in water and then drinking it or doing it sublingually, it was just too high dose of an ashwagandha dose for me, and I wasn't particularly productive. You need stimulant, some sort of stimulant, whether it's a heavy stimulant or something like modafinil, which is really not a stimulant, but it does stimulate your brain to work in order for you to be productive. So answer to that question is either lower the ashwagandha dose or add aniracetam or phenylpiracetam or oxiracetam at a low dose to edge that out. Still make you feel good, but give you the extra bit of functionality so that you want to work. How do you stay motivated as an entrepreneur? Good question. I put this on here because, we talk mostly about nootropics, but I think a lot of you guys that are getting into nootropics are business people and wanting to start a business or wanting to advance your business or something. Well, kind of like what I just talked about, how I stay motivated is a degree of discontent with where I'm at. And then, so just like looking at the condition of your business or the condition of your life. And like, I would love to be able to, if I just on a whim wanted to go learn to surf in Hawaii for 6 months, I would like to be able to do that. And then like take my girlfriend with me and pay her, or so that she can run her company. She owns a music studio at the same time. I really can't quite do that right now, right? So like that's one thing. But then there's other things. I've got goals for myself as an entrepreneur in terms of revenue, and until I hit those goals, I'm motivated to hit those goals. The other thing is, so that's sort of like a negative thing, focusing on what you don't want, but it's important to have that balance. The other thing is just focusing on what I do want, focusing on what I really, really want in my life. I like to set goals and achieve them. Like nothing is more dopaminergic than that for me, to like take 6 months and be like, hey, I have this big goal that's gonna take me 6 months and I wanna do it. I delay gratification until I reach that goal, and then I'm like, man, this fucking feels so awesome. It just feels so awesome to do that. So that's really how I stay motivated. Otherwise, it's chemical modulation with nootropics. What got me into nootropics? Well, two things. Really, the necessity to perform better in business was one thing, but the root of it was meditation and how that changed my brain profoundly when I was like a really unhappy, like just out of the Iraq war dude. Meditation made me a lot more happier. My brain was just putting ideas together. I was more creative, and this is something I had never really experienced before up until that point to any large degree. So next logical question for me was like, what else does this? You know, can I take, is there other herbs that do this? That was the first route. Are there herbs? And I kind of got into theanine, and then I was looking at what else modifies brain performance in a way that, you know, allows me to just perform better mentally. I had made this great connection back then, like the better my brain works, the happier I am, the more productive I am, the better my life is. Like this thing right here that you're walking around with is everything to your life. It's like, you know, all this externally focused stuff that people are thinking about means not much, because you can respond differently if your brain is different. It's like, it's right here, everybody. It's right here. It's right in your head. So optimizing that is critically important. Nootropics to take for the gun range. Good question. Well, you want to be, I think you want to be pretty calm at the gun range. And you also want to be very focused. You know, you want your eyesight about you. So if you respond well to Noopep, there's cholinergic activity in your retina, and that's why some people feel like they have a little better vision when they take Noopep at the right dose. So get Noopep at a good dose that's not too stimulant-like. So that's kind of what I would say. You know, otherwise compounds like oxiracetam would be helpful, because it's just going to kind of hone you into focus. And, you know, if you want to be more strategic about it, like a low-dose adaptogen would be smart, just to kind of keep yourself cool and calm and not stressed out at the fact that they're two slots down. There could be a dude firing a .357 Magnum. It's actually happened to me before. I'm at the range shooting like a Glock 19, and, you know, it's like whatever, regularly loud, and then I'm like aiming and trying to like get a good shot group in. And then this dude next to me with the .357 is like, shakes the earth with this .357. So might want to be calm by taking an adaptogen. Last question. Nothing works for me but modafinil. What do you suggest I do? I always know that you talk about cycling. Well, I actually had this conversation with a person yesterday about that. The bottom line is modafinil is not liver toxic. And for a lot of people, they don't develop a tolerance. Some people do, some people don't, but for a lot of folks, they don't. It kind of just works the way it's going to work every day, and then it wears off, and then you're done, and you take it again. It's sort of the same thing. So even though, yes, I do suggest folks cycle, if you've done enough relentless experimentation the right way, and you haven't gotten results, that does happen for some people. It's just they can't really take cholinergics, they can't take stimulants because it makes them anxious, and they can't balance that out with an adaptogen. If you've run through the litany of things that you need to do to dial things in, and you still are not having results, but modafinil helps, take it every day. You know, take it 5 days a week, cycle off on the weekends is what I would say. Perfectly okay. All right, that has been the Nootropics 20 for the day. Thanks so much for being with me. A couple major things, guys. Remember, Cortex Stack right now is buy one, get one free. We've got about 250 bottles of Cortex to get rid of it, buy one, get one free. So it's probably going to last a week. So look, just go do it now. Coupon code GET1, GET_ONE at livecortex.com. We'll get you buy one, get one free at Cortex on the Cortex Stack. It's not going to show on your invoice or checking out. All you need to see is that the coupon code applied successfully. When we read the invoices and the orders and our shipper is shipping products, they see the coupon code and they will ship you the free bottle per what you bought. You could also buy 10 bottles, and if you do, you get 10 free if you use that coupon code. Look, if you need my help, a 40-minute call with me to listen to what's going on with your nootropics experimentation, and then to suggest to you 5 to 7 stacks that I think will work really well. And then us working via email to adjust those stacks to perfection, and then set you on a schedule to take them for your business life or your life. Get the Nootropics consulting package. That's what that's for. We have other packages. Find what's right for you. If you are interested in the Nootropics Masterclass, the Nootropics Masterclass, class that teaches you how to use nootropics at the expert level. People that are 5 to 10 years in, they do things differently. They induce states on cue. They know how to do that. It takes a while to learn. We teach it in a 1-hour video course on the Nootropics Masterclass, and you can get that at livecortex.com. Last thing, if you're a guy, we were talking with Lucas pretty recently about icing the testicles and red light therapy and all these different things. Look, we figured out stuff that works. I figured out stuff that works. It's very near and dear to my heart, testosterone. It's critical to have if you want to feel good and function as a man. If you're trying to have a baby, it's just there's so many really, really important things about testosterone. We have a protocol for it. It's called the Viking Testosterone Protocol, and you can get that at livecortex.com. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Another Nootropics 20 coming soon. In fact, I'm going to film that right after this, and we'll talk to you next time.